Describe the physical appearance of a crested crane bird. What are the main habitats of the crested crane bird? How do crested crane birds communicate with each other? Explore the significance of the crested crane bird in different cultures. What is the diet of a crested crane bird, and how do they forage for food? Describe the courtship behavior of crested crane birds. How do crested crane birds care for their young? What are the primary threats to the crested crane bird's population? What conservation efforts are in place to protect crested crane birds? Explain the migration patterns of crested crane birds. Compare the crested crane bird to other species of cranes in terms of size and behavior. What role does the crested crane bird play in its ecosystem? How do crested crane birds use their crests in communication or courtship? What is the lifespan of a crested crane bird in the wild? Are crested crane birds monogamous? And how do they form pairs? How does the crested crane bird adapt to changes in its environment? What are some interesting facts about the crested crane bird's behavior in the wild? How does the crested crane bird build its nest? What are the main predators of crested crane birds? How do human activities impact the crested crane bird's habitat? Describe the range of vocalizations that crested crane birds use. How do crested crane birds protect their territory? What are some of the myths and legends associated with the crested crane bird? How do crested crane birds behave in captivity compared to the wild? How does the presence of crested crane birds affect local biodiversity? What are the physical differences between male and female crested crane birds? How does the crested crane bird's plumage help it survive in its environment? What are the key characteristics that make the crested crane bird unique among other birds? What are some famous places where you can spot crested crane birds in the wild? How do crested crane birds interact with other animal species in their environment? How have crested crane birds adapted to human-made landscapes? What are the conservation challenges faced by crested crane birds? How does climate change affect the crested crane bird population? What is the role of the crested crane bird in the cultural heritage of East Africa? How do crested crane birds care for their feathers and maintain their plumage? Discuss the role of the crested crane bird in the tourism industry in East Africa. What are some unique behavioral traits of the crested crane bird that set it apart from other cranes? How do crested crane birds use their long legs and beaks to find food? How do local communities in Africa contribute to the conservation of crested crane birds?